Hey guys, welcome back. Lance Caron here again, and this is, what is this, video 9. So this is on converting your challenge members for your profitable bootcamp into long-term clients. And so as I mentioned before, I used to do 3 months, 6 months, and 12-month programs, and what I would do is I would discount the monthly rate on each of those as they got longer of a commitment, and I would let them know that as well, that, hey, transformations take a lot longer than most people want them to. And I let them know, like, hey, if you were to work with me 24/7, give up all the food and eat like a trainer 24/7, I could probably have this done, like even a huge goal in less than 3 months. But that's not real life. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have real jobs and things that keep you back. And so I let them know, this is where it does take, more consistency, and it takes a little bit longer. So nevertheless, so at this point here, what I'm going to be talking about is how to convert these people into your longer term program whenever they are, finishing up your 28-day program or your challenge. And so one of the very first things that I like to do is, first of all, welcome them, ask them how things are going. Hey, Mrs. Jones, it looks like you really kicked butt for this 28-day program. I can already see a difference. We're going to go ahead and take your measurements and see what sort of progress that we've noticed here. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to give you a couple of strategies. And then on top of that, too, we're going to talk about your strategy going forward to make sure that you never go back to where you were at before. Because as you mentioned, and this is where I would have their goals, as you mentioned before, you felt like you just didn't have the confidence that you used to have. You worried that your husband doesn't look at you the same way that he used to. These are the things that we want to prevent you from going back from. Does that make sense? And at this point here, this is whenever you're going to get a verbal, your very first micro commitment. If you want help with sales training, this is something that I do within my coaching. I will do. I'm not going to teach you everything in sales training. There's 13 years of experience and in coaching and whatnot that I've got that I don't want to put into a video. That's going to be really difficult. But I'm going to give you a couple different charts and things just as frames of reference so that you know, or you can at least maybe take what you like out of that and you can use them. So this one here, we've done the measurements. We noticed that there is a significant loss in inches, maybe some pounds loss, etc. If you've done really well with this and they followed your program, which I hope that they have, then you should be noticing some good amount of results. Now, a couple different things can happen is if you didn't pre-frame, people can be thinking this is a very finite program, in which case they're thinking, hey, thanks for the trip, I'm out, this has been real, I'm going to keep on doing what you've taught me, and I will see you the next time you do a challenge. If you've done really well, then you've already preached to them that, the reason that this works is because of the accountability, the community, making sure that you have ongoing changing workouts, and that, you have somebody making sure that they show up, and you have nutrition and coaching involved with this to make sure that they get the entire program, which prevents them from ever going back to where they were. If not, it means that you have more value to build, and that's okay too. So just keep that in mind, that before you're doing this, you do want to be pre-framing, talking with them in the groups, talking with them in their actual workouts, the whole 9 yards, about how well they're doing, but to keep in mind about what's going to happen after this, maybe even dripping on them a little bit as the sales lingo goes, to talk about like, hey, I've got some awesome things coming up specifically for those of you who are inside of this challenge. Some amazing offers. You're going to love it. Make sure that you make your strategy session so that we can talk about going forward, and to make sure that you get this amazing offer because it is a limited time. So with that being said, we've gone through the measurements. We're talking them a little bit about goals, etc., maybe about what they're looking to accomplish now that this is nearing an end. And so you would just, again, make sure that you rebuild rapport. Hopefully you've done a good job of this. But at this point here, this is whenever I'm going to begin talking and say, let them know, like, hey, this is amazing. What I want to do is give you some insight on what you can expect going forward, because as you know, there's a lot of people that are already connected and who do our fitness program. And the reason they do that is because you're getting the best of all of these worlds. And so what I want to talk to you about any successful program that you're going to be looking for needs to include these things. And this is where you're going to show them the what they've known as the success triangle or the fire triangle. And the success triangle, what you're going to do is you're going to let them know, any successful program must include these 3 things, unless you've just got ample time and energy and so on and so forth. So the first one is weight training. I always said resistance training. I don't like saying weight training. It's so reductive. So I would say resistance training is key. The second one is nutrition. And then the third and final is cardio, or we can call that aerobic activity, whatever. And so what I usually let them know is like, here's the problem. What usually happens is people often will focus on one of these or two of these, but it takes all three to create a full-blown fire. And this is used in, firemen's training, that a fire is known for a fire triangle, which is going to be oxygen, heat, and then, of course, the fuel source. And if you get rid of even one of those, the fire will completely burn out. And so that's what we're doing here, is we're letting them know we have our own fire triangle. And so what we're going to do is we're going to let them know if any of these is off, your fire just isn't going to burn. In this case, your metabolism. So what we're going to do is let them know that, first of all, resistance training, a lot of times, if people do focus on resistance training, they might piddle around and go from machine to machine in a gym, spend 60 minutes, barely get their heart rate up, not really know what they're doing, and really waste a whole lot of time. And unfortunately, they're missing some very key elements, such as cardio. The other thing that people do is they get cardio involved, but they might spend a lot of times on the cardio machine, not really doing anything, not using interval training, and so they end up burning themselves out and actually burning out muscle tissue, which muscle is going to be responsible for some major metabolic burn. So usually what happens is either one or two of those are focused on, not all of them. Or the final is that people want to focus on diet, but they don't want to focus on the others, and this becomes a problem. So what we've done is we put workouts together that include the resistance training components and the cardio combined, so that not only are you getting the best of both worlds, but you're actually burning twice the calories in half the time. The cool thing is whenever you do this in this interval style training, you actually improve your metabolic burn for up to 30 to 35 hours, which is known as the afterburn effect. So we do all of this. When you combine those things along with nutrition, with proper nutrition that fits into your lifestyle, now we have this fire triangle for your metabolism, in which case you can see some amazing results. This sounds like this would be an amazing fit for you. Wouldn't you agree? And this is where they begin to say, wow, this sounds amazing. And you say, this is why you've gotten such great results. And the reality is just going to a gym or just doing things on your own usually will depict in one of these things not being up to par or up to the same standard, which is a problem. And so what we do is we've created this program here. And the cool thing is that with private personal training, if you were to include all of these things in there and you need 2 or 3 workouts a week just to keep your metabolism going, well, this can add up quite significantly on your cost. Being at the average personal training session anywhere from $55 to $100 in session, this now you could be looking at anywhere just with 2 to 3 times a week of anywhere from $300 up to $700, $800 a month just to get a couple of workouts and usually lax nutrition. And so what we've done is we put together this program in which case you get unlimited personal training sessions done in a group set or a group atmosphere so that you actually get more of that camaraderie in the community. And we've done this and it allows us to do this at such a discounted rate for you, and yet you get all of the benefits and even more. So at this point here, then I let them know, can you see how this might make sense to be a better fit for most people? They say yes. At this point here, I would like to go ahead and show you a little bit of, some of the offer that we have. Would you like me to go ahead and show you this offer or show you the pricing? At this point, they're going to say yes, obviously. And this here is where I begin to show them what the pricing components are. So now what I do is you can see all this. I'm not going to go through all of the price presentation and all of this. This is for private training, but I wanted to include that for you guys. So what I begin, to do is to let them know, like, okay, here are the different pricing scenarios. Here's our 3-month. I show them the rates, and this is usually the higher rate. Then I show them the 6-month. And usually I name those programs, and then finally the 12-month, and I let them know our 12-month is the most popular because not only does it fit usually better inside of the monthly budget, which most people are on, the cool thing is we actually discount the overall cost. So you're actually saving yourself $200 in comparison to do the 6-month or the 3-month program. So at this point here, I let them know, we know that this is going to be a program that fits for you. You've already gotten great results. So with that being said, which of these 3 makes the most sense for you to get started on today? At this point, you don't say anything. You let them choose or give you an objection. Usually they're going to say, well, I need to think about it, or this sounds great, but whatever. This is when you go into objection handling. I'm not going to go into tons of that with you guys, but I do want to let you know that this is where you let them know, like, hey, what I've done is I've given you a discount. Usually what we would do is either $5 a month or $10 a month for the 12-month program. And as long as you get signed up within the next 24 hours, you get that discount, which saves you $120 off of your total price. Does that make sense, or does that sound fair? At this point here is whenever they're going to go ahead and say, oh, okay, cool, I think I'm ready, or whatever. If they're not ready, this means that you just have more value to build with them, or you might want to ask them, hey, it seems like the program is working for you. What questions do you have that maybe are holding you up from taking the next step towards more confidence and actually getting the body that you really desire that we talked about early on? This is where you can get them to tell the truth. Well, it's just the cost. Well, it's just this. Well, I'm just not sure I can make it this many times a week. And then at which point you let them know, hey, that's totally okay. Even if you can only make it 2 to 3 times a week, this program is still going to be nearly a half of what it would be to work with a private trainer at doing the same sort of thing. Does that make sense? And this is where you begin to rebuild value. So the final thing is let's say that we've already gotten through this. Again, if you need some sales help, I'm happy to help you. I've included some sales presentation stuff inside, as well as the group close. You can do a group presentation, which I've done, and these usually do really well. I'm not going to do that on this video, but you can watch that and you can implement the same thing at the end of your challenges. But what I have included for you also, and I've included a ton of stuff for free, but whenever you're done and they've decided to stay on with you, you've got an example of a contract or an agreement. So you can just fill it out, change your names and everything. You can see some of the pricing changes. Just add one more in if you want to do the 3-month like I did. And this is ready for you. So we stopped doing the month-to-month thing. I never liked that. It just gave too many people too many reasons to not commit. And so they just didn't get as good of results. So that's totally up to you, though. So nevertheless, again, as I've mentioned in all these other videos, if you have not gotten my funnels to where you're going to get access to all of this stuff in the emails, etc., go ahead and do that. You're going to get 2 weeks free for ClickFunnels. You're going to get several funnels that I'm giving you, not to mention all of this stuff for free. So be sure to do that. It is all part of my master plan because, again, I'm going to most likely get to coach some of you. And then again, using ClickFunnels, I get a very small affiliate commission for using that. And it just happens to be the reason I do that is because it is my favorite out of all of the ones that I've used, as I've mentioned in the earlier on videos. So nevertheless, this is a win-win scenario for us. And so I just want to be able to help you guys out. I hope that this serves you well. I can't wait to hear how your programs are going. Stay tuned on the next video to where I'm going to be talking with you guys about setting up your ads and making sure that those go live and getting approved. I'm not going to create ads fresh with you. Facebook changes too often to make that happen. However, I will give you the instance of how to make this work and give you some pointers on where to go to make sure that you get set up. So that is everything, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you.